What's up, brother?
Want to talk about sketch? I don't really know how to like approach / tackle this topic. Basically, videos were leaked of him. He had an OnlyFans from a couple of years ago. There's a lot of explicit content, explicit homosexual content, and
who didn't have an OnlyFans a couple of years
ago? Like who? Yeah, like I'm waiting for mine to pop out.
You got to get bigger.
Yeah, so it basically like broke on social, these videos and his OnlyFans, and people just like went up in arms about it, and it became a problem for some people. And we talked about it in the office for a while, a couple mornings ago, and I didn't understand it at all. I didn't understand any of the outrage or why people were upset, but it became this whole like posturing thing where like people were fake mad up front, and then everybody was like standing up, like I stand with Sketch. It's like literally he just was gay for like, you know, a video, and people are acting like this was like a moral problem. And I don't know. It was just a weird situation. It looks stupid.
The whole thing is dumb. We agreed it's brain rot. We could probably talk a million different angles about like how to react to bad PR, how to spin good PR as a creator, all that stuff. I will say, I don't give a shit that he's gay. I don't give a shit about any of that. Where I did find it uncomfortable was to me, he was putting on a character, and now everyone is standing up for Sketch the person. Who is Sketch the person? Are you a character who maybe fakes a disability? Are you gay because when you do a response video, you're joking about it, so you're in character for that? So who are you as a person? So I'm fine with everyone liking or disliking Sketch the character. But a lot of people were posturing, being like, Sketch is the man, like he's awesome. Maybe he is the man. I just don't know who he is. So I was just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it was just weird because he was like apologizing, and I'm like, what? I don't understand. But he wasn't apologizing for what you're saying, being like, sorry guys, like I've been acting like this person. Yeah. It was just like, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. It's like, literally, what do you apologize? It made no sense to me. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. I like literally could care less about the topic itself. For me, I understand where you're coming from, where, you know, the point of view of we don't know who he is, so it's starting to feel like it's a little bit weird or uncomfortable. For me, I just like Sketch, he doesn't affect my life at all. Like he is just who he is, and it's like if I enjoy his videos, I think they're funny, cool. I don't like laugh at a Madden clip and then be like, wait, but who is Sketch? Really? You know?
I do think the one argument I could see eye to eye with is if you're a parent who was he's kind of been positioned as like this amazing person who's a role model, and now the fault comes on us for, you know, looking up to those people to begin with. But if you're a parent, let's say you're a parent and your kid's 14, and you let them admire Sketch, and now Sketch comes out and he's not who he said he was. Are there questions? Sure. This was summarized in probably better words than I could have put, but this was a tweet from Samantha SN1. I think it was in reply to a Sauce tweet or Sneeko. I don't fucking know. He said, he's not mad he's gay. He's mad that he's being praised for being a prostitute and faking being special needs. And everyone is scared to call him out because they don't want to be called homophobic simply for disagreeing with him by angry mouth breathers. Praising a guy pretending to be special needs is gross. Nobody cares he's gay.
Wait, say that first part again.
He's mad.
Who's mad?
I think
Sketch was never mad.
I think Sneeko.
Oh, Sneeko.
I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest.
I'm not saying. Yeah. All I'm saying is this kind of summarizes what my confusion is, which is he's being praised for being a prostitute and faking special needs. Like that's the first part of this.
Yeah.
Like to me, faking special needs as your character and also having a history of being a prostitute that's the situation. The fact that he's straight or gay, that doesn't matter to me.
I don't think any of I guess the way I look at this is just capitalism, brother. Like
I was gonna say, sex work is just not what it used to be considered.
I don't even mean it from that. It's like none of that matters as long as he's funny. If he wasn't funny, correct, he wouldn't be on the radar. If he continues to be funny, this will be in his rearview mirror within 1 month. Like no one gives a fuck.
Okay, but in the name of capitalism, he cannot be upset if the NFL disassociates from him.
Sure. Is he?
He cannot. No, but in the name of capitalism, this could easily get him blackballed from every, right? Like, okay, so he starts selling memberships and his diehards support him. Yeah. But if Twitch kicked him off for not wanting to associate with someone who's faking special needs because that's against TOS.
That's capitalism. I mean, if you're going to play the game, you're going to get played by the game.
I just think that we spend too much time on this.
I agree. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out from a business standpoint, from Sketch as a creator. I don't think he's done anything like that.
That's what
harmful.
I was going to ask. Do you think he's done anything wrong?
I think he's a very confused young kid who got an insane amount of attention very early on.
But the answer would be what? Right? Like you're I'm not saying you're defending him, but he's
qualifying.
You're qualifying it, thank you. But what is the answer to the question? Has he done something wrong? Like I would say yes. I would say faking special needs and creating a character without letting us in on who the entirety of the character was.
But this isn't news that he's faking special needs. We've known this for a
while. I also don't know, like, is that... I know he has these, like, weird tics and stuff like that. I think some of that is part of his personality. I agree that it's probably pushed and like, set up a little bit more for content.
What about the fact that he did a whole content piece about introducing his new girlfriend 24 hours before this came out? He's being fake. And that's what I said from the start.
What do you mean?
He did like this whole thing. He went on stream. He's like, this is my new girlfriend. Okay, so what are you? Who are you?
But do we need to know who he is?
Yes, because we're following the character.
That's what I'm saying. He's just entertainment.
I didn't know any of the bdge people before I started kind of working with you guys, and I didn't care if you guys were like. I just enjoyed your content.
If you found out Nick was a serial killer, slightly different.
That's very different.
That's morally wrong. And the crux of the argument comes back to this. You believe that he is...
Do you think it's morally wrong that he fakes a disability to take advantage of capitalistic tendencies?
He doesn't really do it in a negative way.
I don't know that faking the disability... Like, that's my issue is I don't have a good enough read on whether or not he's, like, faking the disability and it's like advantageous to...
You say it's not in a negative way, sure, but he is taking advantage. And
like his faking the disability is just him going like this. It's not like it's not like he's
but there's so many arguments that counter that. It's like, oh well, now if you want to look how functional the autistic community is, they can become the top streamer in the world when. Maybe, like there's so many things that are levels.
I get it, like selling at false streams and stuff like that.
There's so much shit that goes into it. And my whole point is he's broken the trust for me. He probably doesn't give a fuck. Once again, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just,
dude, at the end of the day, I don't.
It feels like he's taking advantage of this stuff. And the same way he was always trying to take advantage of the audience, right? It started with OnlyFans, and then he figured out, oh, that's not the path for me, and this is how I'm going to take advantage of you. That's how I feel.
I think he's a young modern day content creator that doesn't actually know better. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong in my opinion, but I honestly feel bad for him, and this is what I said. I think the last time we talked about him is because he's going to have to learn this lesson the hard way. Where it's like when you build yourself up to based off of something that's fake, it will eventually come out, and you will have to transition into the person that you actually are, right? And that's a really hard transition to make. So that's one piece of advice I'd always give to content creators. The authenticity is obviously, it's very, buzzwordy and cliche at this point, but these are the reasons that you need to build from authenticity, because eventually it comes to light. And then like when you have to make that transition, 99.9% of people don't give a fuck who Sketch is as a person. So if they do deem that he's doing something morally wrong, they don't care for who you are anymore, and they're not going to care for your content. But if you've built through who you are as a person, you give yourself room to make mistakes, because everybody fucking makes mistakes. But if you posture as this perfect person who's perfect or this or that, then it comes back around. You gotta
play the character.
Right.
It's a question of, do you want to be a character for the rest of your life?
Yeah. And realistically, I think the way that this is going to play itself out is I do think maybe Sketch will, just because...
I have no clue what he's been up to since we last had this conversation. Like, right. I don't even watch this content. It just comes across.
I think this is what I think is going to happen. I think over a month from now, this is going to be a 0% non-topic about anything. He's going to go back to his life being extremely popular still. I do think he'll probably lose some brand deals of big companies, but he'll get some brand deals of other companies that are just less, politically correct type of companies. I don't think anything's going to change with them.
Chick-fil-A will love him.
There you go. But the reason he'll keep getting is because his character is talented.
I mean, Chick-fil-A is actually a good shout. Like the guy who owns it is just he's a dickhead. He's the worst, but the product's good and people like good food, and that's capitalism, baby. You either
separating the art from the artist.
Yeah, you either like it or you
the question really
go
is
to
where
Canada.
Do you draw the line?
Yeah, everyone's got a different line.